Travis, today we're going to talk about something that doesn't get talked about enough, but it affects a ton of families, and it's the rising costs of long-term care.
Absolutely.
And really the importance of planning ahead, right? Let's face it, no one likes to get older or is going to want to need help someday in the future, just either transporting themselves or whatever that might be. But the truth is about 70% of people over 65 will need long-term care at some point in time of their
It's
life.
kind of a
And that's a
crazy
big
stat.
number.
I bet you if you polled people, they wouldn't say it was that high.
I agree.
Yeah, and according to a Genworth's 2024 survey, private room in a nursing home will set you back somewhere around $110,000 a year. And even in-home help, let's say you get to actually age in place or stay in place, a home health aide costs somewhere around $65,000 annually is what the survey said for 2024. So I'd also keep in mind, those numbers are
staggering.
Right, but keep in mind those are today's numbers.
True.
Right, when you start talking about planning. With inflation, especially in the healthcare sector, which when we do plans, we obviously make that healthcare inflation higher than standard inflation,
That
right?
is correct.
You could be looking at double those costs in 15 to 20 years, and if you're not prepared, boy, does that add up quick.
It will, and the truth is, it will quietly drain your retirement savings if you are not proactive. But the good news is there's smart ways to prepare. So let's cover a few of these.
Okay.
One of them is just long-term care insurance. Getting a policy that, unfortunately, though, is extremely expensive.
Yeah.
So it really has to financially make sense, because that can also financially drain a portfolio. And if you don't use it, you lose it. There's also the more modern day long-term care, I call it, is the hybrid policies, where you have a life insurance policy and you have the long-term care. If you don't use the long-term care, you don't lose necessarily all your premiums, because you're going to get that death benefit later on down the road, because the reality of
Which is more palatable for people. It's not like you said, use it or lose it. Hey, if I don't use it, I get something back. That's a little easier to swallow.
It really is. And then we have HSAs that come with that triple tax advantage.
HSAs again. Here they come.
That is amazing. We talked about this in the past. Very powerful tool to use. And then the last one, self-funding.
If you're lucky enough.
If you're fortunate enough to have the wealth to be able to self-fund or self-insure yourself against this expense of, you mentioned 110,000 and 110 in a long-term care facility, 65 at home. But on the East and West Coast, those numbers might be higher. So you want to make sure that you know in your area what it's going to cost, or where you could end up.
Yeah, local expense. But and those numbers are important. But long-term care isn't just a financial issue, Steve. It's a family issue, and without a plan in place, the responsibility, who's it fall to? It often falls to your loved ones, right? Your kids, spouse, maybe your siblings, and that's when things get pretty complicated, because we've seen it firsthand. We've seen siblings clashing over decisions. We've seen family members shouldering the entire burden for a family, and maybe just not appreciated enough for it, right? People need to understand how taxing that can be on someone.
Yeah, that's true. A little planning today, Travis, can go a long way, obviously, and prevent a lot of future stress. So start the conversation today, as you mentioned, with your parents, your brothers and sisters, siblings, and with your advisor, because the advisor, we can be a real good third party to try to take the emotion out of it, even though it's a very emotional decision. Next, get a clearer picture of what the costs are in the area where your parents are going to be, because that's going to help make sure that we get the numbers correct, so you have enough. Then incorporate the long-term care plan. Okay, so we do financial planning for our clients. We're going to have that in the plan. So
it's one of the stress tests we like to do.
Absolutely. And so we can actually put that into the plan to make sure that you're going to be able to accomplish that long-term care need, or satisfy that long-term care need, or the expense, I should say. So come and talk to us. We can be a resource for you to be able to accomplish what you need to.
Let's just start the conversation, right? Because if you don't, you're not one, we're not doing our job, and you're probably not. Your plan probably has some cracks in it.
I completely agree, Travis. It's been great. I look forward to it next week.
Look forward to it as well.